Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Everything Spice. My name is Tanya. Today, as you can see, I have two big heads of cabbage. And I am making Polish Golumpkis, or Golumpkis as they call it. And maybe I'm not pronouncing it correctly, and if you're Polish, I apologize in advance. I'm not Polish. But I do love stuffed cabbage, and that is what this recipe is, basically. So I have two heads of cabbage, as you see. And what I started to do was to core. You have to core them out, okay? Because you're gonna put them in a big pot of boiling water, salted boiling water. I've already pre-salted it. And I'm trying to get it in there. And this is how you do it. Go around. And you're gonna core this because it needs to be cored. So be careful, because you're gonna be having a sharp knife, and I always keep my knife sharp for this type of thing. Go around the core, wiggle it around, and get your digits out of the way. You don't wanna be like sticking yourself with a knife. Okay, and this is what you do. So it's a little bit of elbow grease and effort to get this core out. And I did it with this one, and I did it with this one, and look what happens. Look what happens, the leaves are already trying to come out. You're gonna put it into upside down in the water, and look, the leaves already come out. Ready for my cabbage rolls, baby. But this is what keeps the leaves together. So you're gonna keep going around and around we go. Where it stops, nobody knows. And then you just take out the core, because you really can't make the cabbage rolls without these leaves, and these leaves cannot have the cabbage, the core on it. They'll fall off when the core is gone. Okay, so once you do that, I'm gonna take the core out. There it is. Boom. And you're just gonna clean it up, like go around and around it. It's a little bit of work to get this core out. You gotta dig in there and use your muscles, kids, because it is not gonna come out easily. And you're gonna clean it up and do that with the other one as well. And then you can put it in the salted water. Because otherwise, if you don't do it this way, if you don't clean this out and get this core out, you are never gonna get these leaves out clean. And you want the leaves, boom, onto the ground. Look for the dog. If you don't get these leaves cleaned, if you don't get this cleaned out, right, these leaves are not going to come out as easy as this one. And what'll happen is you're going to have a difficult time. So get rid of this core, clean it up a little bit, and then put it into the boiling water. See, there we go. All right, welcome back. What I want to show you is what you do. So come to the pot when you're trying to get out the leaves. See? Here we go. See what happens? After a while, the leaves, they loosen from the cabbage. And that's what you do. And you put it in the pan. I got the pan right here. I'm going to keep it away because you're just going to get steamed up and heated up your phone. And there you go. You just pull away. It has to be able to pull easily away. If it doesn't pull away easily, don't force it. Don't force it. Let it go. And as it, as it cooks, cabbage cooks, that's when it'll peel away very easily. Look at that. Awesome. Okay, and the next step to this process, once I get all this cabbage done, all these leaves removed, and do it gentle. If it doesn't do it, then guess what? It ain't ready yet. Okay, it ain't ready yet. That's fine. Cover it, let it go, and then it'll be ready when it's ready. Okay, don't force the issue with it when it's not ready. All right, the next step to this process is going to be the filling of this. Okay, while I'm waiting for this, I am putting the filling together. Now, push this down a bit so you can see what I'm doing. See what I see. Okay, here we go. All right, and this is onions. I got 1 onion that I'm going to chop up. I got about 5 cloves of garlic, and I have celery that I am chopping and dicing up. Now, celery is probably not a traditional ingredient that goes in, but I'm trying to boost the flavor of cabbage rolls because they can be quite bland, to say the least. So once I get all this done, this pot done, what I'm gonna do is saute celery and onions and the garlic, and I'm gonna add it to my beef. I'm using ground hamburger because that is the traditional meat. Some people do use pork and a combination of pork and hamburger. Some people use all hamburger. The woman that I have on my co-worker, she is Polish and she uses just ground hamburger. So I got about 3 pounds. 3 pounds of ground, baby. Probably 80-20 because that's my go-to. I had some Chinese yesterday and I have some rice left over. So I'm going to use the container of rice. I'm not going to boil my rice. Though, if you did boil your rice, you could use 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water, parboil it, or some people boil it all the way, cook your rice first, and then you add it to your raw hamburger. It has to be raw hamburger. It cannot be cooked hamburger because it just sets up easier inside the cabbage roll. And as it's steaming in the pan or in whatever vessel you use, you could use a pot, you could use a pan, that's when the hamburger cooks. So you don't cook it in advance. So I'm gonna dice up my celery really good. I got my garlic already done. I've already set up initially my onions and just dicing them. And then what I'll do is I will saute all of this in a pan with some oil, olive oil, and then I will add it once it cools to the raw hamburger. And then we're going to show you, and I'm going to use my seasonings, okay? Salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, not traditional, I'm using it, and parsley, okay? This is these are the ingredients, the spices that I'm going to use for my cabbage roll, for the filling, okay? So once this all gets done, I'm going to show you how to assemble the cabbage rolls. Stick with me, okay? The next step in this video is this, baby. Okay? This is the diced onions, the diced celery. I added some salt and pepper to this. I added oil and butter, a pat of butter, a little more than a pat of butter, and some olive oil. I'm going to saute that till it gets translucent. And then I have the garlic. Okay, putting that in now. You got to let the onions and the celery cook first, otherwise you'll burn your garlic before the rest of it gets done. Just so you know, okay? So let that go. Let that all melt in together. All right, and then the next step is we let this cool down. I have my tomato soup, 2 cans of tomato soup. I'm going to add with some of the residual water that I have from the cabbage. And I'm going to make some tomato soup, and that's going to be my topping, okay? So the next step will be the rolling of these beauties. So stick with me on Everything Spice. All right, let's mix up the hamburger mixture. Now I have the hamburger, about 3 pounds of hamburger. I have parsley, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, salt and pepper. I did add some Lowry seasoned salt to this, plenty of parsley, okay? I'm gonna use, I don't have any gloves and I don't wanna touch it today, so I'm gonna use a storage bag, okay, whatever. Judge me if you must, YouTube, but I'm doing it this way. I'm gonna get my hands dirty, so. And you can always like cinch it up so it doesn't like hit your hands. All right, so we're gonna keep mixing this. Mix, mix, mix. And yes, I am using a storage bag, whatever. Then I have this whole container of white rice and I'm gonna use it. and because it's something to get rid of the white rice that I had, and it's perfect for this. So I'm gonna mix this all in with the hamburger. I'm gonna mix it really well, and then we're going to get started on stuffing our cabbage rolls, because all the cabbage is done. All I gotta do is mix the rice in with it. So let me keep mixing and mashing. All right, and then we add the cooled onions, garlic, and celery to this pan, as I'm doing now. And I'm pushing it in and mixing it in so that all that flavor goes in. Look at how it's looking. It's looking good, man. So this is raw hamburger. I'm not cooking the hamburger in advance of stuffing the cabbage. We have the rice cooked, right? Paw cooked or fully cooked as I got. I used my leftover rice. And the onions are sauteed. And all of that does, the celery, the onions, and the garlic, it gives a little bit extra oomph and flavor versus raw, which really doesn't have that much flavor to it. So we have all of our spices. We have our mixture already. Okay, it's almost quite there, not quite there, but almost there. And then we're gonna stuff it into cabbage rolls. I'll show you that on the other side. All right, this is the home stretch. Here's my cabbage leaves, and I have a bunch of them. You think I have enough? You think I have enough? I don't know. All right, I got a lot. Now what we're gonna do is we have to take out this leaf, this vein here. If you can't see it here, you might see it here, okay? Gotta take out that vein there, because that's not gonna be able to roll. How I do it is this. Sharp knife, cut around it, okay? Go to there, get rid of the core. And then what you do, has a nice little, look, has a nice little bed here for the cabbage. So here we go. Here's the mixture. Spoonful of mixture. Okay? In the middle. Just like that. Perfecto. Okay? And then what you do is you're gonna roll it up. Let me see. Just like that. I'm gonna roll it up. And then you go 1, 2, and then you roll this whole thing up like that. I think that's not the way it's supposed to be, but let me try it this way. Try it this way instead. Fold it up. This way, yeah, that looks better. And then we roll it into a ball. There we go. And then we're gonna put it in our pan, which I have here. My pan, okay? I have a big pan because we're making a lot, and it's sprayed, okay? And then I'm gonna put that there, and I'm gonna keep working. I did the other one, cord it. Let me do the second one for you. So you have an idea of what it looks like. Just like that in the middle, don't overstuff. Just cover it first, like that, to the sides, almost like an egg roll, right? And then you roll it, baby. Perfect. Seam side down into the pan, okay? And we have a bunch of these to do. So maybe one more I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you one more. And here we go. We're gonna cut out the core like this, just like that. Oh, it's a little tough. You gotta make sure that your knife is sharp, okay? This way. Then you go a nice little dab. Dab will do you. In the middle, right? Then you fold it up. You go left, you go right, then you go left, left, right, left, and then you do it like that, seam side down. Okay? And this is how we're gonna do it throughout this whole process. Let me keep rolling it out, and then I'll show you what we do at the very end. Okay? Stick with me. All right, we're back for the home stretch of this meal. Here we go. They're all rolled. Come on to the pot, to the pan, and look at them. They are ready for their close-up. They're gonna be going in the oven, 350. Already got it preheated. Now this white stuff is Crisco. You can use it, you don't have to use it, but a Polish woman said to me that that's what she uses. Now, the only difference between her and my recipe is that not only am I going to use the Crisco, but I'm also going to use the tomato sauce. So I have 2 cans. The residual water that I had from the cabbage, and I'm going to pour it all over this. Look at that. Yummy, 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 yummy. It's going to fill in all the cracks and the crevices. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with some, oh my goodness, look at that. Perfecto, 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 perfecto. And it's going to steam. Look at that. Right, I'm going to cover this with parchment and then with Reynolds wrap, and I'm going to steam it in the oven for an hour. I'm going to see what happens after an hour, and then I will check back with you to see how this meal is going. But this is my version, and my friend Carol's version, she doesn't put the tomato soup, but it is traditional to put the tomato soup, okay? Just so you know, if you look up any of these recipes, they put the tomato soup. All right, join me on the other side for the big reveal. Welcome back. This is the big reveal. Here is my cabbage rolls, or Golumpkis, as they call them in this area. Polish Golumpkis, or Golumpkis. I'm not saying it right, I'm sure, but they're stuffed cabbage rolls. They look amazing. Look at this deliciousness. All that sauce on the bottom. Fabulousness. What I put down on the top is something non-traditional. I put a little bit of cheese. I know, it's probably sacrilegious. And also some chopped cilantro. You know I like cilantro and everything if you watch my show. So, this is it. This is how I made it. And this is how it turned out. They're glossy. They're delicious. They're fabulous. They are ready for their close-up, baby. And if you like this episode or enjoyed this program, please like, subscribe, and join me next time for Everything Spice. Be safe, everyone.